Welcome to the Link Parishes podcast. I'm Donald McCorkindale, Church of Scotland minister in the parishes of Ardgour, Morvern and Strontian, linked with Acharacal and Ardnamurchan, bringing you news from these parishes and beyond. And in a little while, we will be hearing from our guest, Claudia Nicholson, who has recently returned from Spain, where she was walking the Camino de Santiago. Earlier this week, what have I been up to? On Monday, I was up at Regmore Hospital, visiting others, and did something I haven't done before. I took the bus, gave the bus pass a wee whirl, and that worked out quite nicely. Left the car at Ardgour, got the bus up to Fort William, connected with the Inverness bus, and then one other change to get me directly to Regmore. And it was good to be able to get a wee bit of reading and some work done on the journey, which obviously I wouldn't have done if I had been driving. Also saved a little bit in travelling expenses. And the journey back south was much more comfortable. It was a very luxurious stagecoach, and even had one of these tip-down little trays somewhere to prop the iPad. Got lots of work done then. On Tuesday, a very different day. I had 5 hours on. Actually, I said that in a kind of disappointing kind of way. It actually was a really useful 5 hours of safeguarding training. Many of you will be familiar with the different stages, the different levels of training that folk are asked to do if they're involved with children and vulnerable adults. And after there's the trustee training, there's an introductory training, there's an advanced training, and I thought I had them all recently, and then they brought out another level for ministers and those in leadership positions. And it really was a very helpful day, and a reminder that safeguarding is, of course, something we want to build into the culture in all that we do around the church. Sunday, the 16th of November, is Safeguarding Sunday, and we'll be thinking a little more about that on that day. On Wednesday, I was in Kilhowan and was able to visit a few folk and pop in at the Tea and Scones, which happens fortnightly down there. Worth the trip if you're somewhere else on the peninsula. 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock for tea and scones at Ardnamurchan Church. And then from the 5th of November, Wednesday the 5th, it will then revert to the mornings, 10:30 until 12:30 over the winter months. Last Sunday, 21st, we celebrated Harvest Thanksgiving at Acharacal Church and Ardnamurchan. And this coming Sunday, the 28th, we will have our Harvest Thanksgiving at Strontian, 12 o'clock, and at Ardgour, 10 o'clock. And at Keele in Morvern, Harvest Thanksgiving will be observed on Sunday the 19th of October. Our guest today is Claudia Nicholson, one of the elders at Ardgour, Morvern and Strontian, mainly around Strontian. Welcome to you, Claudia.
Thank you.
And you're a bit of a traveller. And you've recently been walking the Camino de Santiago.
Yes, that's right.
So let's begin with why. What was it that made you take on that challenge?
Well, as you know, I like walking, and it was a thing I think I'd like to do that one day, but never thinking I would. And then I saw it advertised and I thought, I'll just go for it. And it was easy because everything was arranged.
Right, so
I'm too old to be a solo traveller.
So you went with a
small group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Who else was on the group?
I think about a dozen of us, mostly ladies. Mm-hmm. I wasn't the eldest. There was one man who was nearly 90, and he was lovely, and he just got up and walked, and he said that's what he did since a boy. He just would walk all day.
Right.
And he did.
So the walk, how long is the Camino de Santiago?
It's just under the route we did. It's between 115, say about 118k.
Right. Yep. So what's that in old money?
I can't remember, but it's quite a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 5 days.
5 days. So I remembered in my first church in Bonnybridge, there was a stained glass window dedicated, it was in memory of a former minister, but it was an image of St James. And I always remember there was the clamshell, symbol of baptism and travelling, and the bag and the stick. Did you learn anything about St James?
Well, yes, but unfortunately, it was at the very end. We had the last day, we'd finished the walk, and we had the last day as a tourist, and we had an excellent guide at Santiago Compostela, and I wish I had known all that history at the start of the walk and not at the end.
Right.
And she was quite detailed, but so interesting about St James.
Right.
These St James and his walk, and his body's buried there, but nobody knows where his head is.
Didn't know that bit.
And the history and details of how it must have been for these pilgrims to walk the distances they did. And we just did a little bit of the whole network of pilgrimage pathways. And how it must have been with disease, death, no roads, no hostels.
Right, yes. Yeah.
And it wasn't a holiday for them, it was sheer dedication. And how, not only did they go to get St James and then they went away, then they had to go back again because they couldn't find the head. The history is absolutely amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And I wish I'd known all that at the beginning. And not at the end.
Right, yes, yep. So it's James, son of Zebedee, one of the disciples of Jesus, and it said that he was buried. I didn't know that he wasn't completely buried.
No. I can't remember the detail of the head coming from here to there, but nobody knows where the head is or was.
Right.
But the body is buried at Santiago. Yes.
Right. Northwest Spain.
Kind of, yes, yes.
Tell us about the experience of walking. Was it just a walk? Tell me about the sense of pilgrimage.
To be quite honest, I would have liked to have done it differently. I went with a planned group. And their aim and object was to get from A to B. I would have liked one more day, not 5. Even the guide said 5 is too quick. There was no time to stop at some of the lovely churches, to see the villages. What's the point? You could have been on a bus, if you know what I mean, just going through and not seeing what you were passing. The only day, there was one day that I wasn't walking well, and it was decided I shouldn't walk. It was the longest walk, and it was the highlight of the holiday, in fact, because it was at the town called Melida. I had to take the bus from where we were. So I was on the local bus, which was great, go down to this town and meet up. They were going to walk it. But it was the Sabbath. I went for a coffee and I could hear these brass bands and youngsters in uniform playing. I thought, this is the Sabbath. What are they doing walking around playing brass bands? Well, it was the Festival of Wine Day. And all these bands, it was lovely. They barged in where I was having coffee and played a tune. But as the day went on, not only did they get louder, but they got more discordant. And it was such an interesting town. And I actually went into one or two churches there.
Right.
The tail end of the Catholic I can't take part in, but you do take part. You sit at the back and absorb. So yes, I did have one day off. I didn't walk.
You didn't walk, but maybe there was a sense of pilgrimage to that day.
Much more.
Yeah.
Well, I walked around the town several times, but I needed that kind of break from. We've got to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the other things along the journey that you might have wanted to take more time with, or.
Yes, probably. We stopped for a coffee break in the morning. There's lots of places because it's such a busy route. It would have been nice going just bypassing villages, so I'd like to go in there and have a look around. But that's what I signed up for. And if anybody was thinking on doing it, plan your own way. Right. Do it yourself if you've got somebody to do it with. And you might get a bit more sense of it. I think as the journey went on, because funny you asked that, I remember day 2 thinking, this is a pilgrimage, but God, I'm not getting any, I've just got sore feet. That's not the focus of it. But I think after my break, I enjoyed it a lot more, and I got more out of it. And I don't know that because the miles were getting shorter as you get to the end. And there was a nice feel with other pilgrims, I think, who some had done a lot longer, but there's almost joy of, we're actually nearly there. And I think the sense of kind of achievement with people at that stage was, whether they were spiritual or not, but I think they got something out of it simply because it's quite a hard slog.
Absolutely, yeah. So you were in a group of 12.
About 12.
Was it very busy? Were there hundreds, thousands along the way?
Yes. It didn't. It just depended, and there's ones that would get up and leave at 6 to avoid a lot of people just go to the auberge, the youngsters, the hostel type places along. We stayed at better accommodation. Yes, there was always somebody around. It was never completely empty. But you didn't feel overcrowded. And a group might come who were young, lots of Europeans there, and they'd pass time of day, make a comment, but they would Zoom at their own pace.
Right, yeah.
So people did it that their own way.
Yeah.
But everybody was friendly.
Any particular...
Bueno Camino, everybody says,
Right.
Yeah.
So what was that phrase?
Buen Camino.
Right.
Yeah, good Camino.
Right, yeah. Any particular characters along the way that were conversations that stuck in your mind?
Well, yes, there was one Australian woman that a guy caught up with, and she was quite, I can't remember verbatim, but it was quite an interesting and amusing chat of her kind of travels. And this was one of her goals of doing so. She was quite happy, but she had done the long trek. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a whole network of pilgrim ways.
Yes.
I mean, you could do a lot more than the 100k.
Oh, absolutely. There's the Portuguese, which starts at Porto.
Right.
There are original pilgrim paths, journeys to Santiago. It was the last part of what they call the French Way, which starts, can't remember, but obviously more to the eastern side of France, and coming down. But yeah, there's quite a network of them.
Yeah.
And
I remember reading somewhere that traditionally the Camino de Santiago always begins from home, wherever you are.
yes,
So
that's right.
Tell us about the journey to Spain.
Oh, well, that's the boring bit, isn't it? Well, I just had to go to Stansted and fly from Stansted and meet the group in Spain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So from the beginning of the journey, let's go to the end of the journey. You'd mentioned to me the cathedral that they.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely magnificent. And when we went in, of course, we had the history, and there was only one. This Mauritius woman. We stayed because we went in and there was a service. We just stayed for the service that was coming along. And of course, I was there. I couldn't have timed it better. How lucky to see Donald, do you know what's the name of it?
The thurible.
The thurible, the big canister that
incense.
swings. And there are 6 priests on the ropes swinging this thing. And it's not at every service. So we were so lucky that, boom, I did put it up on my Facebook.
Right.
Quite magnificent. You see the incense billowing out. And what a lovely scent. When you're walking out, it's still clouding down. And that was a joy.
Right, yeah.
That was a lovely feel, the service. And you have to admire they went all tour. It didn't seem to be all tours, but a lot of, obviously, the Catholics know their service and they're so devout, and it's taken very seriously. And I wish I could. I don't know. Not understanding the language perhaps made it more poetical.
Right. Yeah.
Just made it magical. That was a magic moment for me.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So much more than just.
That was.
We've completed the journey.
Well, it did complete the journey. The whole experience. Yes. That was good.
So it's something you would do again, but differently.
No, I probably wouldn't. I would recommend it.
Right. Yeah.
And I would, tailor it to how you would like to do it. Yeah. I'm glad I've done it.
Thank you for sharing your experience of the Camino de Santiago. Let's finish off with 7 quick questions. All our guests have had 7 quick questions, and I usually change one or two. A quick answer is fine, but if some of them take us off on a wee tangent, that will be just fine as well. Is there anything you've learned recently?
Don't overestimate yourself and your capabilities. Recognise Anno Domino creeping in. Yeah.
Is there a piece of advice that has always stuck with you?
Do the best you can, when you can, and if you can't, it doesn't really matter.
That's good. Thank you. Question number 3. Who inspires you?
Who? Well, I think one's spirituality, and I think as a Christian, that's kind of fundamental. And I think anybody, whatever their religion, that has a fundamental guide to their own style of life.
Thank you. Is there a hymn or a song that lifts you up?
Oh, Donald, there's so many. There are a lot. I'll just give a rounded answer to that. I really like some of the old traditional hymns that I hope we can maintain, and some of the modern ones which are good. I don't want to forget the big blockbusters of hymns.
Right, yep. On Sunday, will be at Strontian, and it'll be Harvest Thanksgiving. So we'll have we plough the fields and scatter. There's a good solid traditional hymn. We might have some modern ones as well. Is there a book, a film, or a podcast that you would recommend?
It depends what I'm reading. There's so many. I'm surrounded by books, and I don't have a favourite. You can see what my books and more. I can't think of one, but when I've read a book and I like it, I recommend it.
Good. Question 6 is a place you enjoy visiting.
Well, I like visiting so many places, but I really like coming home.
Good answer. Final question, number 7. What gives you hope?
I just think I'm lucky to be fit and healthy at my age. And I hope it lasts a bit longer.
I hope so too. Claudia, thank you very much for sharing with us of your pilgrim walk and for your answers to the 7 questions. Thank you. Thank you for that, Claudia. Now, we were talking about harvest, and I should have mentioned the Harvest Supper happening at Treeslake Village Hall on October the 3rd, Friday the 3rd of October, 6:30. There will be food, there'll be vegetarian option, there'll be lots of fun. We'll maybe sing a few songs, there might be a quiz or something. Always a good evening, the Harvest Supper at Treeslake Village Hall. If you're able to let us know that you're coming along, that will be helpful for catering numbers. You can let me know, you can let Elizabeth Carmichael know, or Louise White. You'll get some contact details on the Facebook group or on the web. So that's the Harvest Supper, Friday the 3rd of October at Treeslake Village Hall. This coming Sunday, the 28th of September, I've already mentioned Harvest at Ardgour and at Strontian, and there also will be worship at Ardnamurchan Church, 11 o'clock. Rev Duncan McPherson will be leading worship then. And there'll be the afternoon online worship with communion, 4:30 with myself. If you don't have the Zoom link for that, then do be in touch with me or someone else who might know. We can get that to you. It's also there on the Facebook group online. Sunday's service from Ardgour will hopefully be live streamed. We've been doing some alterations to the internet facility there. Westcoms have moved the dish, and we might still have to trim a few branches just to see that we've got that line of sight for the radio signal. But hopefully it will be good enough for us to be live streaming on Sunday. Wednesday evening prayers continues every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Good to welcome a good crowd every Wednesday, 10 o'clock, and many who will catch up later in the week. Thank you all very much for listening. It has been good to share these things with you. The details of all that's happening around the Peninsula Churches, do check out www.peninsulachurches.org.uk. God bless you all.